This is S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S4, where we talk about the real issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains of Washington State. We also cover topics such as disaster and terrorist response and preparation and veterans issues as appropriate. So, tonight, it's the 16th of February, 2 days away from my birthday, and just wow. You know, I originally thought it was going to be a slow year for UFOs, but this week a local truck driver caught a photo of what I believe is a phenomenal catch, and come to find out it's not his first time. And we'll have him on the show next week. So, you know, I've lived and of course my brain here. I've lived in concrete since 2012. Started the Upriver Group in 2014. And even in the Upriver Group, when we brought up anything paranormal, it was an attitude of mockery and ridicule. And I caught this name from, I caught the name of the crazy UFO or paranormal guy. You know, people would walk across the street and whatnot. Anytime you bring up paranormal. So I was quite surprised at the turnaround response when this witness posted his UFO picture and everyone started sharing their own stories. And there's quite a few of them, to include some abductions. You know, and some people actually saw the same lights that he saw, which adds confirmation to it. So it gave me the urge to get out and investigate, and spurred the new team we're setting up to research some of the events going on up here in our own mountains, which is some of what we talked about tonight. So tonight with us we have Cole and Kayla Wegleitner, Eric Markham, our S4 scientist, and Nikki Jacobs, our S4 research team psychic. So how are we all doing tonight, guys?
Excellent.
Doing fine.
Doing good.
Yeah. Great.
I can't wait for you to move up here.
I'm already here.
I know. But, you know, I'm still... So I've been jumping through my ass all day. Because, you know...
Hey, Robert.
Back in the early part of the year, we were talking how UFOs were slow. And they were. But I guess it depends on where you look. So I'm going to tell you, according to Newfort, there were 572 UFO reports in January alone. Now that's global. So far in February, we've had 153. And, you know, tonight's show is pretty much spurred by John's picture that he put in the group. And some people think it's, you know, a photographic anomaly based on a cheap camera. And that's all fine and good. Other folks think it's the National Air Guard. But going by John's description of how this craft left, it's not a typical aircraft to me. So I sent this picture to Keith. And by the way, for those of you that are missing Keith on the show, because we moved to Sundays from 7 to 10 p.m., he can no longer be on the show because he's working at that point in time. But according to Keith, that particular craft, going by his description of the race that flies it, is called the Talons. Taelons. And we'll talk about them a little bit later. But
The what?
The Talons.
That's the race that was in the. No, it was one of Gene Roddenberry's series of supposedly
Earth Final
Conflict. Yeah.
Earth Conflict. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, these are the Talons, and they're a nasty race. They're part of the consortium, but they do what they want. The consortium don't like them. So you know, John puts his picture up in the group.
It gets 141 comments.
Huh?
It got 141 comments total.
For what?
For his one.
For his
picture.
one post.
Yeah.
And you know, it baffles me because 2 years ago, if I would have posted something like that, I'm like, God, you're the crazy UFO guy. Oh, we don't believe in the paranormal up here. So it's a great turnaround because not only did these people go, oh my God, it's a UFO, but more and more people came out and started saying, I've seen something similar to that, and I've got my own stories. And not only does John have that one picture that he took, but he's got 5 different UFO sightings he's seen, including a Bigfoot report from Grandy Lake. We'll be talking to him on the show next week.
But there is a coincidence there with
What's
that.
What's that?
The same closed-minded people that are unable to accept the idea of aliens and UFOs in our universe are also the same ones that can't seem to handle a Facebook group, so they're not in the group anymore.
And that's fine and good.
I just thought I'd mention that.
Oh, yeah. But you got to understand, too, we have new people moving, joining the Upriver group every day. So
Absolutely.
We have new blood that comes in, and some of them are a bit more open-minded than what we've had before. And that's a good thing. So while some people would say, oh, yeah, go report it to MUFON. No, don't report it to MUFON. If you want to report to somebody, report to Newfort, Peter Davenport.
I'd say report it everywhere.
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
No.
You can't just say no. You actually have to give them a reason why, Eric.
I know.
That doesn't work.
MUFON's corrupt. They've proven to be corrupt. Some of the individual state directors are great. I'll give them that. We've got, Barry Gaunt. We've got Lorraine Fenton. Both outstanding state directors of MUFON. But the MUFON overall, the difference between George Filer with Filer's Files, which is another reporting center, and Peter Davenport, is they put the information out for the world to see. MUFON will not.
But what I'm saying, Eric, is you got to give, as you've said, we've got a ton of people who said they're going to listen tonight that have never listened to our show.
Uh-huh.
They need to know how reporting agency being corrupt would affect their report.
So the funding, I'm not going to get into the politics of the corruption they're in, because I don't know it all. But having been with MUFON back in the 90s, I know damn well back then they didn't. They treated the experiencer like crap. They did not. They debunked everything, whether it was valid or not. Now, is it different today? I think it depends on the state director. You still with us, Markham?
Yeah.
I know you've heard some of the stuff about MUFON.
Oh, yeah, and I countered it firsthand through some of the guests. I mean, it's... I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Peter Davenport, he's a one-man operation, bless his heart, but I think he's got more integrity than all the new MUFON chapters rolled up in one.
And that's where it goes, too. A lot of them, when Bigelow Industries popped into the scene years ago,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them sold out. He offered them money for their case files. To me, that throws all confidentiality of your clients out the window, which I'm very dead set. You don't ever throw your clients' names out, ever, over money especially. Peter Davenport didn't. They offered him money. and New Fork is the only agency that did not sell out. So,
did he ever get any help? I mean, he's been
No.
a one-man operation
that
forever.
and that's the only downfall with New Fork is he is a one-man show. It does take him time to get his reports up online. But you know, he gets them out in groups, and they're global. That's probably the only valid reporting center that I would ever endorse. Now, with that, if you're local, we're here. So don't just send your report to New Fork. Get a hold of me. Get a hold of Cole and say, "Oh my God, dude, go outside and look at the sky," or "Oh my God, you know what? 10 years ago, I think I have some missing time and some weird stuff happened. Can you come and hear my story and see if there's any validity to it?" Because we're here. We're not some team that's going to come from California or Spain to come and check out your story. We're here in your backyard. And so with that...
We're not in their backyard.
Not literally.
Don't worry.
But, you know...
I would say start some kind of group, but then you'd have the ones that wanted the attention seekers that would come up with crap. But if you ever find a group that you would trust, to be sort of a, hey, look in this this area of the sky in your local area, that would probably be pretty handy.
Well,
especially with some of the research we're wanting to do.
That's the thing too. Forest Moon Paranormal is still the platform for S4. We monitor Forest Moon Paranormal all the time, and we had God, how many locals did we have jump into FMP just in the last few days, Cole? I know I approved about 10, and that's a good start.
About 20 to 30.
Yeah, and FMP as a standalone platform is global, so it does have 13,000. So a lot of them are global.
In the last 8 hours, S4 Radio's Facebook page has gotten 42 new likes.
Yeah.
So it is all to do with this new thing that's happening right now with our area.
And that's why we kind of changed up the topic. One, our guest couldn't make it tonight. So, and honestly, as of Wednesday, I was kind of revamping what we were going to talk about tonight anyway. In light of the escalation of UFO reports and what was going on locally. So getting, on, we'll talk about some of the reports on New Fork, because we had one in Arlington, we had one in Anacortes, and we had one in Deming just this year. Now, does that mean when someone reports, it doesn't necessarily mean it happened this year? It might have happened 10 years ago, and they're just getting around to reporting. Because I'd say about 80% of the people, myself included, that have had sightings don't go to a reporting center. They keep it to themselves. I've had 5 sightings. Have I ever reported them to an actual reporting center? No.
No, I've had my sightings, and basically the only place I've reported it is live on the air, either here or on other shows. I mean,
right.
A lot of times it's like if you're looking for details from an eyewitness. I know in my case, even as jaded as I am, I was in the moment looking at what was going on and not thinking about anything else.
Right.
So, like, you hear the person that says, "Well, why didn't you had a camera? Why didn't you?" It's like, and you think, "Oh, I know I'd take that picture." Well, no, not necessarily.
Well, we need better cameras. Honestly, if you're going to get a valid, scientifically minded picture, you need a high definition, preferably night vision camera. Who's going to carry one around?
I'm telling you, some of the members of my astronomy club back in Winston-Salem have gotten a new. I can't remember what brand it is, but there's this new app for taking astrophotography pictures, and for when you look at it, it's like, okay, that's pretty amazing. They've got some very good pictures of just, handheld with a cell phone of things like the Orion Nebula. And I'm thinking, well, it ain't gonna be long before one of them people catches something, and it's gonna. I think you'll be able to see it then. I'm amazed what the handheld technology.
Those apps
today.
are growing very popular. Actually, there's Google has its own. They have the new Google Universe app where you can actually star map everything out there, and if something shows up on your device that is unknown, you give your information forward, and they'll look into it for you.
So, who do you think is in that platform that's looking into it for you?
Anytime it's free, you are the product.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, Google does a lot of things that are free that they probably shouldn't.
Again, who do you think's funding that?
Well,
Google.
I mean, nobody's perfectly incorruptible, and there's benefits. Hopefully, it'll get, if something like that ever does happen, it'll get out and the information be disseminated before it can be.
You don't think...
That's one advantage we have. You wouldn't have Roswell happening like it did in the 50s.
You don't think the government's behind Google?
40s.
No.
Oh, I'm sure. You don't think?
I don't.
Well, I think Google can afford to buy the government.
Yeah. In a heart, I honestly think they might be holding a few strings themselves, but I don't think the government's behind them.
Okay.
And I think, if anything, Google does everything they almost freaking can to stop what the government's doing.
Well, you know what? I hope you're right, because I hope somebody is.
Well, you think about it. Remember when those anarchists were going around and they were ripping down everyone from Microsoft to Netflix to... They were stopping all servers.
I don't remember that, but...
Oh, yeah, the guys that use the Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah.
God, what were they called? They must have shut them down.
You're not
Anonymous.
Anonymous, are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anonymous.
Anonymous is still around.
Yeah.
But Google's never been...
Yeah, but I think they're treading a little... I think they're treading a little more carefully. And
that is
and
true.
when Microsoft got hit, it was the Google analysts that fixed it. Microsoft itself couldn't figure out what to do because they would back up their servers for the Xbox, and immediately they'd get shut down right again. Like what they did didn't even matter.
So are you saying Anonymous is Google?
Well, maybe.
Not a chance.
Nikki, where'd you go?
I'm here. I've been on mute, but I've been listening.
Okay.
I can't see you.
She's in the backyard.
Oh.
So what UFO experience do you have?
I'm an abductee.
I know that. Have you seen any activity in the skies in the last 2 months?
2 months now. Well, I had one that was questionable, and I'm like, okay, that's... planes don't hover.
Not typically.
But the problem was that it was flashing with a white and a yellow light. And I'm like, that should be a plane. That should be flying, like actually moving. This sucker stayed in place. And it was in the Linwood area. I was really rather stunned. So, yeah, I mean, but to me it's questionable. I question everything. So, could it be? Yes.
Linwood's
Was
close.
it? I don't honestly know. Even as a psychic, I don't honestly know. Because I did not get a psychic hit on it. I did not get, it was, because believe me, I know when what I call the bad guys are around. I mean, everything in me starts screaming bloody murder. So I know when they're around, and I know where there's alien bases around Washington State, out in the water, and on land.
Whidbey
But
Island.
Have you ever had a hit off of UFO at all?
yes,
Yeah?
twice. Once before it happened, when it happened, that's still I still classify that as one. And one when my team was up at Mount Baker. Actually, it happened before that. I take it back, and I asked for protection for my team. Sorry, I'm not using my words very well tonight. And we got it. We got an entire Sasquatch clan, and I'm talking entire. They kept an eye on us that was so intense that I was the safest I've ever felt in my life. It was incredible, and I'm like, can I please get a picture of you guys? Are you going to let me get a picture of you guys? No, but we'll let you see it. And I went, oh,
No
I'm like,
cameras.
seriously, let me at least get a shot, a picture. But they allowed me to see Mama, which was the matriarch of their clan up at Mount Baker, and I just was like, wow. The drive-by, but I did get to see her, and I knew it was her automatically. It was just stunning. So and they did they protected every one of us. They kept track of every single one of us, no matter where we went. And I know how they did it. I'm not going to discuss that, but when I was up there that specific time, yeah, I saw a ship, and I have been recently informed that it was a warship, and I went, yeah, okay. Been on one of those buggers.
No. So
Not, thank you. Nope.
I'm just wondering, what do you think of the possibility of, obviously these ships are made for interstellar travel.
Yep.
Therefore, you would think with the space is not empty.
No,
It
it's
needs some kind of force field type thing to surround the ship in order to stop it from getting pummeled by rocks and dust.
Space debris.
Do you think they'd have something within those shields to hide their signals most of the time from? Because otherwise, like Nikki, I'd imagine if they didn't, you'd be getting bombarded with how many sightings there are around the world.
Yeah.
You'd be getting constant hits from that. There has to be something on their ships that stops those hits from coming through so much from psychics and people.
I was just about to state a quote that I was just about to state. I know for a fact there are, but I can't prove it.
Well, no, it's all
that I know from childhood, but yeah, they're based on information that I know of right now, both with personal experience and with what I've seen personally, especially with what I saw up at Baker. Oh my gosh, that was really intense. I have hidden memories, and I know they're hidden memories, and I know they're hidden. They're blocked. I've blocked the memories because they're too traumatic. There's stuff I can't quite handle yet. But what I saw up at Baker, that I can honestly say was for the first time that I actually remember. I was allowed to remember it. It was a huge ship, and I can't say that because I made a promise. Okay, so basically it was gigantic, and we're talking 3 to 4 football fields in size.
Mm-hmm.
It did the reflection thing for the sky, and then for a fraction of a second, I actually saw it. It must have been in the process of switching to something, and it was slowly moving. It hovered, and then it slowly moved, and it was the bad ones. And I went, yeah, that's exactly why I got the psychic kit on to protect the team, because I instantly knew that between 2 to 3 of us would be abducted that night, and I was like, no way in. Nope, not happening. Not on my watch. So I know that they've got the ability to do all of that. They have to in order to travel through space, and with what I saw as a child and where they took me, I know they do. I don't know how it works. Right now I'm saying I don't know how it works. I'm sure once I allow myself to go back into some of those memories, I will find out. So.
Well, definitely don't do that before you're ready.
Yeah, this I know. Because I'm really angry at them right now. And it's not normal for me to be angry.
Well, she's going to be with us up in the mountains.
Not just the mountains, but I'm building a back deck that is made for skywatches at the house here.
Nice.
So,
So for our local,
I'll bring my Mead LX10.
Exactly, because so for our local,
I'll bring the coffee.
For our local listeners, there are 2 headquarters upriver. One is on Haystack, and that is the primary headquarters. The other one is here in. Do you mind if I say where we're at? Not your address, but
7550 Maple Street, Concrete, Washington.
Cape Horn. That's where the studio is.
Great. Thanks, Cole.
Here, alien, here, buddy.
Hey, not all of them are buddies. Quit calling them.
So we are doing our S4 research team. I haven't even discussed this with you yet, but March 7th, tentatively, is going to be our first team meeting.
Hey, Kayla, we're having people over March 7th.
All right, you want me to make tacos?
Make tacos.
I'll make tacos.
We'll make tacos.
Okay. So there you go. You're all getting fed too.
But yeah, if you want to come, if you want to come up, Nikki, that's going to be the first team meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay. I will see what it's going to depend on what's going on with my mom.
Yeah. Got it.
How's she doing?
She's out of the hospital. She's back at what is now her facility, and she's doing her typical time right after returning. She's having a hard time. She'll eventually level out, but she's having a hard time right now.
Well, tell her we're all thinking about her.
Yeah.
Will do. Will do. I appreciate that.
So, before we go any further, I just got to throw this out here quick. Do not forget, people, March 27th through 29th, me and Eric will be at the Oregon Ghost Convention.
And Kayla and Izzy.
I see how it is.
They're not even coming to help. They're just going for a fun time.
Hey, saltwater taffy and bumper cars. That's what we're going for.
So we'll be in Seaside, Oregon for that. There's going to be a lot of great speakers, a lot of great classes. There's some awesome ghost walks happening and investigations that you can join in on. All tickets are on sale now at their website, OregonGhostConvention.com. So make sure you join us.
And make sure you stop by the S4 booth.
Yes,
we will be there.
Have all kinds of merchandise. We're going to have a prize drawing there that you have to show up at the table to enter into, but you do not have to be there to win. So,
and I gotta say too, we still have Paracon T-shirts from last year. If you want to buy one, they're $20, and we have every size imaginable. I just haven't gotten a picture up in the group yet, but yes, if you still want a Paracon T-shirt, get a hold of me. And $20.
Was that going to be the last one, or are you going to do another one this year?
No, that's the last one. That was the last one.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, Cheyenne said that too. Cheyenne was in tears because she wanted to work at the Paracon. But, no.
Well, I just think you're in a bad area. There's not enough. There's no support. It's a shame.
Well, Yeah.
You know what? We're going to have fun.
There's some politics. There's some politics involved.
There is.
I know,
and
but
folks need to understand what it takes to put on an event. Oh my God, it really is.
It's labor intensive, man.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money that if you don't even break even, which we didn't, it's just not worth it after a while. We did 4 years, and it was fun while we did it. It just it's too much. It takes too much out of you.
So yeah,
for nothing, for so little return too. I mean,
exactly.
that's the bad thing about it.
Exactly. So you know what? We're going to take
the show on the road.
We're gonna take a few years off. There might be a Paracon in 5 years, 10 years, whenever we get around to thinking about doing it again.
S4 Con.
It'd be an S4 Con. Exactly.
That'd be pretty cool. That would be cool. Yeah.
You can look for an S4 float at the Lago Rodeo Parade, July 4th. We will be at the Skagit Valley Fair.
Skagit County Fair.
In August.
Skagit Valley Fair.
We will be at the International Bigfoot Conference in Kennewick. And
what's the one you're going to in March?
That is the
Oregon Coast Convention.
Yep.
I think my schedule just got freed up over.
Rock on! That's in Seaside.
So
Oregon.
I may try and get out that way. I've got to get moved out of a place in Winston-Salem, and get out of that town. But
you got 2 months.
Once that happens, I may
be. Two of their speakers are
seeing you
Ross
there.
Ellison and Mike Morin.
Yeah, Mike Morin's going to be there speaking.
Oh, awesome! I love Mike.
Yep. Mike's an awesome guy. For those that don't know Mike Morin, look for the Haunted Crew of Canada.
He's my Mountie.
That sounded very, very gay.
So we're going to get into a lot more science here in the second hour. But you can look for us at primarily Cumberland Pass. We're definitely going to be walking South Skagit Highway because I think that's a cross point for a lot of what we see going on up here.
Yep, already got my EMF readers ready.
I think we need to do the New Halem Caves this year too.
Which one?
The New Halem Caves.
I need to find that. I need to find that.
I know where they
You got some caves out
I got
there?
some maps.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, no.
Oh, count me in.
Yeah, me too.
No, Markham.
Get up here, Markham.
Cumberland Pass has mines.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And-
Whoa.
No,
I ain't getting shot for this.
no.
Oh, no, it's not like that.
It's not like that, but these
You don't
mines have intense UFO activity as well as Bigfoot activity. And that's where the science is going to come in because I want to prove, if there is anything to prove, the tie between Bigfoot and UFOs.
Well, I think it's mainly has to do with the topographical area of that pass. I think there's a lot of minerals that are very close to the surface in that area, and a lot of different deposits.
And that's why the UFOs are there. But
that's what I mean.
I just got told they're using them for protection.
Who, Bigfoot or UFOs?
Bigfoot.
Okay. So the client we had last year when we first got put onto, there's a lot of fairy activity up there too, because we actually caught some fae on the game cam that we had up there when we were looking for Bigfoot. But there's fae activity in these whole North Cascades, and that's another area we'll be looking at.
And a grouse.
And the grouse. We got a grouse that kept looking at the camera. That was interesting. So I'm not one to push for money, but I am setting up a GoFundMe for the S4 research team because we need better tech. We need more game cameras. Now, I'm not asking you for money. If you got extra gear, we need gear. We need gear. We need survival gear. We need base camp gear.
Anybody got a Geiger counter laying around?
I might have.
Markham does.
Markham does.
See, Markham needs to get up to Washington.
I used to have one, but
I brought it last time I drove out there. Corey Reese's mom, when we went out to that that site where we did our we're just out there looking around. She carried it. I think we got some spikes out there too.
We did, and what's interesting with that is we got spikes on the Geiger as well as the EMF, both of them, which is two
in
different.
The same location?
Yeah, which is that's a
two different types of technology. Yeah,
that's a different kind of radiation field.
All right, so we're bringing all that Nikki and the spirit box.
Also,
we're
for
gonna figure
anyone
this out.
who's interested, my birthday's coming up in April, and I wear a size 1984 Ford Bronco.
Well, that's part of the reason we're doing a GoFundMe.
It
is
fits
for
me
vehicles as well as
perfectly.
tech.
Yeah, okay. Keep dreaming.
And so we're talking a lot more in the second hour with Markham as far as the kind of tech that we need for the lab that we're setting up.
Beakers.
Huh?
Beakers.
Markham's probably got beakers.
I got some beakers. Beakers.
Markham, you still there?
Yeah, beakers. Yeah, there's so little of that. There's so little of that kind of stuff being used now in my lab setting because so much of it's been turned into colorimetric or thin film chemistry that it's all done on the analyzer now. The old days of walking into a clinical laboratory and seeing Erlenmeyer flasks and beakers, that's kind of, if there is any, it's in a back room not being used.
Sitting
So
right
yeah,
next
in
to
class.
the Tesla coil.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's just nothing. Yeah, it was always Tesla coils and Jacob's ladders in the old movies.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of the glassware and stuff is gone now.
Well,
But
bring the beakers.
Pyrex
You can use
is
them as
Pyrex.
coffee cups.
Yeah. Speaking of coffee cups, we're going to have S4 mugs at the Portland at the Oregon Ghost Conference as well.
Nice little segue.
I'm drinking out of my S4 mug.
I've got both. I got
Yeah,
both
you do.
versions of the Forest Moon Paranormal coffee cup.
Uh-huh.
The alien head and then the logo with Bigfoot and all the other elements.
We're buying all new gear just to sell it.
Do you have the new one?
I don't know. Do you have the one with the alien on one side and the UFO picking up the human on the other side?
No.
Yeah, I got one for you. Don't
Yeah.
worry. I've got a whole case of
Okay.
them.
Yeah, you just need to come to Washington to get it.
Yeah.
I'm working on. Well, hey, tell me. I have already decided.
Yeah, Nikki's got one, don't you?
I missed it. I'm sorry. What was that?
No, you have the S4 coffee cup that we were selling
Yes.
at Paracon.
I love it. Use
I
it
have
all
a
the
whole
time.
I have a whole case of them. I'll leave one now. Well, hell, there's plenty of extras floating around both houses. And the rest of them we're taking to the Oregon Ghost Conference. But we'll have new ones anyway. We're always coming up with new gear. We have keychains. We have pins.
Shower curtains. Get your shower
What kind of
curtains.
stuff?
Oh my God!
What
I
kind
need a
of
shower
what kind of equipment do I need? You got enough. I'm old school. I like to use like I've got like the tape recorder I gave Mike Morin last time. I like to use magnetic media for EVP because I think the tape disc. I think you get better recovery. My personal best has been on magnetic media as opposed to digital.
Well,
I can bring a pile of cassettes.
But
Cassette deck.
bring all your stuff. But you tried out reel to reel, did you not?
My best. Well, the first year I was the first Paracon when I was a guest speaker, I brought my. You heard it. That little. God, what brand was that? They were ubiquitous at one time. Anyhow, that little 3-inch. There was a time when people were sending those 3-inch reels. This before cassettes were available. Those 3-inch reels to their relatives in, Vietnam or overseas, and it was, they were specifically made to just do a little, 20-minute call, verbal to home type of thing, and they even came in mailable box, little cartridge probably about a cassette and a half as far as size goes for one of these little reels. And I caught a very good, very clear. I never have to tell anybody what's being said on this EVP.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I forgot. What did Mike Moran say? That was like class 4 or so. He was all excited about it. But, you know, that was and I had just restored it. I had done some work on the heads, and I had just put a new belt on it. And, yeah, that was a vintage microphone, too. That wasn't even a modern microphone. So, yeah, when it comes to EVP and that kind of thing, man, I am all about the vintage tech. Maybe it was just beginner's luck, and I listened to that tape. I forgot I will update you. I listened to it to see if something happened again. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently the spirit was impatient that I wasn't doing it and said it again toward the end of the tape. So there's actually, I didn't realize it till about 6 months ago, there's actually 2 very clear EVPs on that tape.
There is. And, you know, we have a lot of other paranormal teams and groups that actually listen to the show. And, you know, I encourage you, go old school. Because digital can be too manipulated. It's too easy to, I mean, both in cameras and in, EVP or in digital recorders.
The thing with the digital recorder, it's either on, because it's digital, it's either on or off. It's 1-0.
Right.
And even though you've got oversampling and, you know, sample rates and all that, with something that's running magnetic media like a reel-to-reel or a cassette, there's no on or off. It's more, you know, it's more like a continuum than, you know, a discrete, it's got to be this level or it will be picked up, it won't be picked up. You know, with tape, I think your odds of recovering, it's like you've got a bigger basket out there to catch things in if you're using the old magnetic audio tape and a good microphone.
It makes me wonder if they like got stuff through the telegraph before all this stuff, like,
or even Morse code.
Beep, beep, beep.
You know,
right.
Yeah.
Well, what about that theory that, and I think Mythbusters actually did a show on this, that the act of making clay pots on a wheel,
right,
could have caught. There's, you know, because basically it's the same technology. You have a soft spinning media that's picking up vibrations delivered by a needle. That's how the original wax cylinders were. That's not a whole lot different than a clay pot on a potter's wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a matter of what the stylus. Yeah, there's been that it could have captured. I mean, how would we recover it or anything? Because, you know, it wasn't being done deliberately, but it is feasible that you can catch sound vibrations in wet.
And we wouldn't be able to recover it. And, you know, back then, they wouldn't know what the hell they were picking up. They wouldn't think, the thought of, oh my God, it's a spirit, wouldn't cross their mind.
Well, I think they were in such a, they were a lot, they were more open to it. Yeah. I mean,
maybe it would have more so. They'd have been like, ooh, I got a spirit.
But they probably would have tossed the freaking clay pot down on the ground and ran.
Well, probably they would have called it a demon right off the top.
Not all of them.
Well, look at the war.
Not pre-Christian. No, not pre-Christian. Not pre-Christian.
No, because
we're talking about ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking ancient, like
right.
BC history type stuff that they think they might have been able. The theory is that these clay pots, while they were being spun, being formed, captured vibrations of the speech, what was going on around them.
Yeah.
And it literally could be done. You could use, if you got the consistency right and had the right style. There's a lot of ifs, It's like this would have to be done at this, but it is theoretically possible that a clay pot from way back there could have captured the sound of somebody, in the room talking.
Ooh, and we have a pottery shop right here in Rockport.
I would be really willing if anybody out there has a pot or a wheel,
right?
To
This is
set
Washington,
up an
everybody
experience. Well, I'm really looking forward to that. But I mean, if you get straight up. But I'm saying, if somebody out there has a potter's wheel, I would be willing to set up an experiment using, some just low tech, a big, like a big cone to catch the sound and a vibrating needle in the clay, just to see, and then fire it, and then see if we can find something. I mean, it would have to work. Now, I don't know what the fidelity would be, but I mean, you look at the original Edison wax cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same idea.
If we're talking like ancient, picking up things on the sound caves in Malta, it's like a huge site where they have the caves are sculpted into sound carriers. It's really weird. But supposedly it's super haunted, and there's a bunch of paranormal stories that come out of there. And that's also where they found those giant skulls.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. So
did you see that article? I never got a chance to vet it. It kind of disappeared off my feed. But apparently the Smithsonian confessed to destroying giant skeletons and giant skulls in the late 19th, early 20th century. Yeah. I never really got to look to see if that was for real or just somebody having fun, but
well, I know that
they've been accused of that forever.
Had giant skulls at one point, and then they just mysteriously disappeared. So
well, they say
somebody had to have
supposedly
them or stole them.
Yeah, they say they willingly and knowingly destroyed them. It wasn't just somebody snuck in but yeah.
With the sound thing,
I have a feeling there's probably a buttload of them in private collections here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
With the sound thing, Markham, I saw something that was pretty cool. Some state over in your area right now, I can't remember honestly which one it was, but those lines on the side of the road that have the little bumps so that you know when you're about to go off the road?
Oh, yeah, rumble strips. I encounter them often.
So apparently this state designed those so that you start at a certain point, and when you stand your vehicle on the rumble strips, and it makes a tune in your car. It makes a song. It's for like a mile.
Oh yeah,
that would be pretty cool. Well,
and I mean, entertaining.
What song?
It's all oscillation and frequency.
Twinkle?
I can't remember what tune it was. It was
because if it's boo 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 boo, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Oh. So, Nikki, have you ever called down a craft?
No. Not to my knowledge right now, I haven't. I was just going to make a comment on the giant skulls.
Mm-hmm.
I was told they're also at the Louvre and in Rome.
In the Vatican.
Oh, I have no doubt they got them.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the 8th floor of the basement.
We must hide Nephilim. There's no such thing as Nephilim. We must hide them. So
right.
8th floor.
No.
What the hell?
No, I haven't.
Right next to the ark.
It's a giant.
It's in the Bible.
As far as I know, I haven't called one down.
So, what do you think about these people that do?
That call a craft down to them?
Mm-hmm. It's a close encounter of the, I want to say, third kind. No, fifth kind.
Fifth kind.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
Fifth.
We'll go over that.
Well, they've got some kind of, if they're capable of doing that, then they've got some kind of connection with the beings to begin with.
But do you think it's a smart thing to do?
No. Not,
Are we talking about that group
I
that?
would say it depends
not
on what
unless-
race you're
not
calling
unless
down
they
and
know-
why.
not unless.
What about that group that says if you come here, we'll open a portal and you can communicate? Are we talking about them?
Well, there's
There's some group out there that supposedly that they're the ones that say, "Oh, we got a fail safe." Obviously you
No,
got
they
to
don't.
pay them for the privilege, but
No, they don't.
yeah, there's
There's no such thing as a failsafe with
The
that.
all and powerful Zool.
right.
Well, I'm on a mission to figure out a way to protect humans from the ones that are doing the abducting. I mean, after what I've been through, and I'm not going to say in how long amount of time, but it's made it very apparent to me that number one, I'm really sick and tired of this BS with the abduction stuff. And I don't mean from everybody else, I mean my personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I had asked Keith when I was on SOR in chat, and David asked Keith the question, and how do you protect yourself? And it's along the same lines of what I was thinking of, which is a much higher frequency.
Right.
With a number of other factors to it. So, yeah, because if I can figure that out, man, I'm letting every abductee know. Because and then start dealing with the soul contracts, because we've all of us that are being taken have a soul contract. And it's like, okay, what is it you really want to be doing this? Is it something you really want to be doing? Then let's find a way to break that contract, and boy, that's not going to go over well with any alien. That's for dang sure. I'm trying to avoid that swearing.
So real quick, I do for any new listeners or any listeners that haven't heard this before, Dr. J. Allen Hynek, and you'll recognize the name from the Blue Book, Project Blue Book TV show that they came out with a categorization system, which is a close encounters of the first kind, which is a CE1, which is an observation of a UFO within 150 yards. A CE2 is a UFO which leaves some form of physical evidence, broken glass, radiation, that kind of thing. Close encounters of a third kind, or a CE3, is a visual sighting of an occupant or entity associated with the UFO. An analysis by Hynek of 650 reports found only 1% to be CE3s. CE4 is an abduction. And a CE5 is a direct contact or communication with an alien being or race.
That's saying hi.
Yeah. No.
No.
they aren't saying hi.
They might.
And it's funny how many think, oh, there's no such thing as a bad alien. I would say about 80% of them are bad.
Yeah, but there's also that 20% that aren't.
No, not all of them are bad.
Marvin.
I get that. Marvin
the
You're-
Martian. Meow, 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 meow.
He just doesn't like bunnies.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
What?
What were you saying, Nikki?
Well, there are really good ones out there, but not everybody will see it that way, especially if you're being abducted on a regular basis or on a semi-regular basis. I know individuals who have been and are now currently being abducted, and they completely believe that everything's hunky-dory, it's all good, and these guys are good guys, and I'm like, okay. But they've got marks and all sorts of stuff on them, and implants and everything under the sun. So, that goes into question with the psychology of how nasty these things can be in altering our memories.
Well,
and how they
also,
can.
Yes, but at the same point, and not to argue against you, because I've honestly I've never been abducted or anything of that nature, but when we go to the doctor, we think a doctor is a good person, and they put all kinds of implants and inflict all kinds of pain into people. You know, like, wouldn't it be...
But we remember it.
Yeah.
I will say...
Here's your question. Wouldn't it be what?
Couldn't it be that some of them are just trying to help? I mean, like, I don't know. Like I said, but there's got to be good and bad in every...
Yeah, I think there is. You look at the situation with Susie Hansen and the stuff that she's talked about with abductions and what they've taught her from basically from birth, childhood. I mean, incredible things. And I find that incredibly fascinating. Things like I start calling into question. I'm finding more and more individuals who are actually talking about the fact that they have been trained by a specific alien race to basically fly their craft. And I've been questioning why. Is there some reason that you are training human beings to fly your craft? Is there something that they see that is coming?
Suicide mission.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm wondering if it's a war of some kind, and they're training humans to fly these
Expendable pilots.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, there's alien wars going on all the time. We just don't see them all because we're not
Yeah.
involved. But there's different races that, you know, whether it's Keith or whether it's Dante, you will hear different stories. There are alien races that don't like each other, and they are at war all the time. Sometimes we're caught in the crossfire, but it has nothing to do with the human race or Earth for that matter. So maybe they're running out of pilots and they're pulling in whatever resources they can to help their own race out.
Well, and here's the thing.
That's sort of the plot to the movie Last Starfighter.
You guys gave
Yeah.
a number out of like 80% to 20%. But no, and I know.
I'm just
but
throwing that out
here's
there.
the thing. What I'm thinking is the bad races are known to us for very specific reasons.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's also the fact that we don't know a lot of the good races because we're not supposed to yet?
And that's a possibility. But anyway, hold that thought.
We do have to go to break.
We have to go to break, and we will definitely pick this conversation up right after the break. So stay tuned.
Hey everyone, Cole here with S4. Make sure you join us March 27th through 29th, 2020 in Seaside, Oregon at the Oregon Ghost Conference. This is their 9th year running with a lot of great things happening, including speakers, vendors, events, and workshops that you can all get in on. So make sure you get your tickets soon at www.oregonghostconference.com. We'll see you there.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
They say I'm evil, they say I'm dead inside. Check out my ego, cause I'm rotted here tonight. Just burn me like a witch, and watch as I catch fire. But I cannot die, I am your poltergeist. I must have 1,000 souls trapped inside. 1,000 souls that are haunting in my eye. You keep trying to kill me, but I cannot die. You try to ignore me, but I haunt you deep inside. You keep Poltergeist, poltergeist. Poltergeist, poltergeist. Poltergeist, poltergeist. I'll eat your dreams while you immerse in all of your hate. Just waste away like you're destined by your pride. I'll be alive but I'm dead to watch you die. So go ahead and take my life, I dare you to try it. You keep trying to kill me, but I cannot die. You try to ignore me, but I haunt you deep inside. You keep trying to kill me, but I cannot die. You try to ignore me, but I haunt you deep inside. They say I'm evil, they say I'm dead inside. Check out my ego, 'cause I want it here tonight. Just burn me like a witch, in watches I catch fire, but I cannot die. Why am your poltergeist? Poltergeist, poltergeist. Poltergeist, poltergeist. Oh, poltergeist, poltergeist. Poltergeist, poltergeist. Oh, you're caving in, the loss of sleep keeps you obsessing on your pride. But in the end, you let me in. They say I'm evil, they say I'm dead inside. Check out my ego, 'cause I'm rotted here tonight. Just burn me like a witch, in watches I catch fire, but I cannot die. I am your motherfucker. They say I'm evil, they say I'm dead inside. Check out my ego, 'cause I brought it here tonight. Just burn me like a witch, in watches I catch fire, but I cannot die. I am your poltergeist. Poltergeist, poltergeist. Poltergeist, poltergeist. Oh, poltergeist, poltergeist. Poltergeist, poltergeist.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4. So tonight we're talking UFOs and alien abduction in 2020. For the first 2 months, there's been a lot of activity that we haven't known about. And, well, in the last week, we've heard a lot of stories. So, you know, get your S4 gear. Go to www.s-4radio.com. And you can go listen to all the older archives at our YouTube channel. And all the archives in the last 2 years are on Spreaker. So, we were talking about alien races, believe it or not. And...
No way. Us?
Yeah. And, you know, so I said 80% are probably bad. You know, going by the term bad, yes, that is going to be based on perception. Mm-hmm. Honestly, there are alien races that are just evil. Look at the Teklex. The Teklex eat us like chicken. You have bad races.
Yeah, but I mean, in their mind, they're not evil. They're just hungry.
Of course not. Okay. But you know what? A bullet to the head, and they're not going to be hungry no more. But again, it depends on what kind of technology they've got. Because some of these races have what do they call? How do they call it? It's an atom destabilizer. It looks like a flashlight, and you just disappear.
Like a baby transporter.
Kind of like
it doesn't end you anywhere.
You know,
Okay.
it's amazing how many movies and TV shows have technology that portrayed on the TV show. Look at the cell phone they had in Star Trek, and look at the cell phone we got today. I mean, so yeah, you look at the old 60s and 70s and even 80s TV shows involving aliens, and well, it's real, but it seemed like it was science fiction back then.
Yeah, it's all been a setup, in my opinion.
Well, we've talked about this on S4 before, but Chris Carter, for example, with X-Files, he was getting information from the government to share on his shows. People think it's entertainment, but sometimes entertainment's not just entertainment, it's reality. I can't remember the other. I know
It's a way to soften the blow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Steven Spielberg, another one.
Oh, come on. Gene Roddenberry has to be up there.
Yeah,
There were 4 of them. I can't remember, though. There was one
More
that was
than 4.
Huh?
More than 4, because there's also a video game developer. But
Well, yeah.
the main ones are Gene, George Lucas,
Yeah.
Steven, and
Chris Carter. And that was a lot of the fallback that Dante got when he first came out with the KGB's version of the Alien Races book. Was people look at it and, oh my God, that's an image from a video game. Well, yeah, he couldn't just give you a picture of the alien because he ain't seen it. He should go straight by KGB intelligence. And the closest they could come up to a depiction of that particular race was something depicted from a video game. So, where did they get it from the video game? Somebody shared it somewhere. So, yeah, just because it's on a video game, just because it's coming from a movie, doesn't mean it's not real.
I'm trying to remember the name of the video game series that's featured in that book, and Kayla's actually going to go grab. I have all 3 of them.
Area 51?
No. No, yeah, Mass Effect. So the Mass Effect series is actually featured in that book.
That's the one you're going to give me.
Yes, and actually there's a few races in Keith's book that are featured in that game that you actually have contact with and deal with. But this game is dealt with way in the future where we are already doing interstellar space travel.
Well, we are already anyway, and we have been for a few years, I honestly think. Look at the TR-3B.
But on a global effect, like we are, for me and you to go across the Milky Way is like a trip to the store.
No, my feet are completely happy being on the Earth and walking on the ground. I have no desire to go in space.
Space Force.
Have fun.
Oh, man, sign me up.
Beautiful, it's cold and it's scary.
If I was excited about the water, I would have joined the Navy. That's why I joined the Army, because I would be on the ground.
Bring on
Well,
Space
if you
Force.
hear any of the astronauts talk about it, the whole time you're up there, they say it's like having a head cold because your sinuses don't drain.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, without artificial gravity or some form of, I think it would suck. I have enough trouble with my sinuses here on Earth. I can't imagine going up there and feeling like but now, forget it.
But I think honestly, by the time we are ready to do that, will have figured out artificial gravity as well. Because
Well, I'm kind of surprised they didn't do. I mean, it was all set up by people like Gerard K. O'Neill and Arthur C. Clarke. You build a rotating station.
Right.
The centripetal force creates a force, creates a down, an up. You've got a force that's, it's gravity. Because even like in my field, some of these, my centrifuges are built in Europe, where they use gravities instead of RPMs. So it converts. The centripetal force creates a form of gravity.
It makes me wonder, because you have basic technology in your labs and in the job you do. Makes me wonder what CERN is up to.
Huh.
What do you
wasting
think?
a lot of CERN is like spending a lot of money that doesn't need. This whole thing with the super colliders. I mean, okay, if you want to play with a super collider, and it's got to be superconducting, blah blah blah. Build the damn thing on the moon. Go around the circumference of the moon or underneath the moon where you've got your cold, or at least you've got such a head start that you don't require as much power to achieve absolute zero, or build it in orbit behind the moon.
But
I mean, it's just.
What do you think about the theory about the moon being hollow and actually being an artificial satellite?
I think it's a good story, but I mean, the thing is, okay, when it comes to the Arctic, Antarctica, the moon, Mars, you can make up as much far-flung BS as you want, because who's going to validate it? You and I can't jump in our Gizmo 3000, fly out there and check. So it's, I read these things.
And if you remember, the reason they thought that was because they dropped a lunar, they dropped something on the moon and it rang like a bell.
But then when you actually go to vet that story, it gets lost in a. It becomes like there's no validation for that.
Huh?
There are mundane explanations for that.
Like what?
Moon's a rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Supposed to be.
So what if you have a metallic substance on the surface that we don't recognize right away that is hollow?
And that's a good possibility.
Well, then again, you've also got the whole. Okay, as the moon has not been I mean, there's probably a few, maybe a square mile in a dusty crater somewhere that, there is so little that has actually been explored there that we're aware of. I mean, you've got all the alien bases on the back of the moon and all, the stuff that you and I, the normal John Q. public, there's no way we'll ever know unless,
I watch
personal spacecraft. Yeah. Well, I'm being serious. You can say any kind of bullshit story you want, and you're going to have the people that resonates with, that are going to say, "Yeah, man, you go. You're telling me," and then you're going to have the others that don't think so. I mean, I don't know until personal space travel becomes. When you can go into space like you can drive to the grocery store,
right?
None of these questions are going to be answered. There's just no. Who do you trust? I mean, there's still people. I mean, I've had one on Joe Roop's show who denies that the lunar landings happened.
Well, then you got the flag.
And anything you tell him. Okay, what about the Japanese photo that shows the no, that's fake. Anything you tell them, oh, that's fake. That's fake. Those cameras. And I even got into an argument with the guy over that he was wrong about the camera. I mean, the guy had nothing but BS, bad information, but they are so heavily invested in it, you can't shake. None of your evidence, I don't care how good it is, if God himself handed you the evidence, it's not going to sway these people because they are so heavily invested in their denial or whatever it is whatever side of this they're on.
The same
facts do not get in the way. Facts, they just tell you your facts aren't facts.
Say again, Nikki?
The same can be said for science and scientists. I'm not making a slam. I'm just making an observation. The same can be said.
But the thing with scientists is that once your experimental data is out there and your experimental technique, somebody else can come behind you and replicate your results. That's
what
good science.
That's what
science
validates
itself is not an end. Science
Right.
is a tool for finding truth.
But if it was proven, if certain things were proven, how many scientists would believe it?
Depends on, well, like I said, now you're using science. You and I use two different terms. You're using scientists as like the cult. I'm talking scientist as somebody who actually sits in a laboratory, follows an experimental procedure.
Nope. Don't mean it that way. I don't mean it that way.
If you have an experimental, say me and Cooper get out there and figure out a way, find this frequency that we're looking for, we do what we want to do, I publish that. Anybody who does the same thing for themselves, and the idea is to do this to where you don't have to be a billionaire to build it and do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else that goes out there and gets the same result with the same experiment, you can't deny it. Now, mainstream scientists, the ones that are scientists in name only and are more like the priests of the temples of Syrinx, their job is to suppress, you're not going to make any inroads with them anyway.
No.
It's the grassroots level scientist that is open-minded and can follow a procedure. Now, they're the ones that you're going to make inroads with. The so-called mainstream scientists out there are no more than figureheads that are put out there to bamboozle a public that didn't even pass basic science in grade school.
And it takes one big name to say, it's fake news, and everybody's going to believe them, whether you proved your theory or not. It's all about
That's
money.
why you let something... Right. That's why you let something out like that. You find something that anybody can do.
Right.
And you put it out there.
What I'm specifically talking about, number one, I believe in science. Okay? Number two, with the abilities that I've got and with my own personal experience, what I want to know is how much evidence and documentation, actual factual documentation, would it take for the scientific world to believe if it's real or if it's not, but if it is, regarding the moon, or regarding, and if it's not about the moon, regarding something similar on another planet, how much evidence is going to have to be brought back for the scientific world to, because they're not going to be able to go out into space and definitively prove it. And to
there's never going to be enough.
Yeah, exactly.
There's never going to be enough until we
rarely ever
have enough capability to actually go there ourselves and do this whole scientific procedure and say, hey, yes, this is actually true.
I disagree.
Well, that's the thing, too.
I still don't think that'll be enough.
No, some of it is still
for one reason. We are far enough ahead with our technology has overextended to the point where we can fake things that we shouldn't be.
Well, okay, well, we'll get it on our own scale, on our own planet. We are still saying that, no, this creature can't live at the bottom of the ocean because of this, this, and this. And then we find that dead creature floating at the top of the water. All of the time we're finding new things within our own planet that everybody said was impossible, that it's not true, that it can't possibly happen.
But how many people believed in the jackalope the first time one showed up?
Exactly, because they saw it and, oh, wow, it's a jackalope. Yeah.
They were able to see it, they were able to touch it, but it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Here goes one that actually happened. And this is recorded. The first platypus sample sent from Australia enraged the curator of the English Museum. He threw it out and sent back a scathing letter to the zoologist who sent it about putting it, attempting to put such, trying to fool. Now there's your two type. That's what I'm getting at. Science. There are two types of scientists. You got the hidebound doofus who isn't going to believe it when he's got the specimen in his hand, and you've got the grassroots explorer field zoologist out there who sees it. There's the establishment scientist, and then there's the experimental scientist that you're never going to convince. I mean, it was the same with the mountain gorilla.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
said, this does, you're lying. That's what I get at when I say there's two types of scientists.
Yeah.
You got those hidebound old pieces of crap that found themselves a niche, and they're not going to believe anything that comes at them no matter what, because they're comfortable in their niche.
Yeah.
You had that happen with the coelacanth. I mean, the first coelacanth specimen that was recovered, the guy who recovered it because he didn't think he'd be believed lied about where he got it.
Now, Kim
So
is in the chat room.
you've got the established.
Kim's in the chat room. She says the point of science is to keep questioning and attempting to prove said hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well,
The thing is, people have gotten to where people look at science like science is an end to itself. All science is a tool for the inquisitive mind to try and weed out delusion. It's a tool. That's all it is.
I like delusion. I'm good with it.
I like research and finding out what's fact from fiction, personally. But which is one of the reasons why I question damn near everything I get psychically, because I'm like, wait a minute, where did it come from? Who did it come from?
And why?
Why?
Well, from a scientific standpoint, from the person of science, your statement about your abilities. Most scientists aren't going to believe in your abilities.
Exactly.
You can't scientifically prove and there's no experiment. That's what's so hard. That was my whole thing when I did my presentation. It's so hard to get reproducibility. Yep. Even a true psychic is going to have a bad day.
Yep.
And what they discovered when they did the study at Duke University did a study on this thing. The more rigid the controls and the more rigid the observation, the less the psychic or whatever they were. It was like the evidence dwindled. It's almost like the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, where you can know where something is but not when, or when something is but not where. It's like when you, as the observer, you set up the experiment and you are the observer, you're throwing the results out askew. Niels Bohr, that was the biggest thing. It bothered him so much. It's like he brought Einstein into it. He said, I think the act of observing these reactions is skewing the results.
And that's
so that's been in science since there's been a science.
And that's why half these paranormal teams out there fail, because you got the one side that says we're doing it in the name of science, when in all reality they're not. They're playing with toys.
Yeah.
You got the other.
Yeah, they're playing exactly. They're waving tech in the air and calling it being scientific.
And that's not science. The other half of them are saying, well, we don't believe in psychics because psychics, they aren't really talking to spirits, or they're fake. And, until you vet your psychic, until you vet your science, you're not going to have a valid paranormal team.
Well, I'm one of those people that originally thought that there was no, having a psychic on a supposedly scientific paranormal team, that was BS. And in my experience at the time, it was, because usually the gal that was playing psychic was the leader of the club's main squeeze, and he was going to let her say what or do whatever just because he liked the supply of sex coming through.
Exactly.
But then when you finally get that chance where you do work with a legitimate psychic, it's the difference between night and day. It's like going quail hunting without, if you don't have one on your team that's a good vetted psychic, it's like bird hunting without a bird dog.
Exactly.
But when you got the one that, when you find that one in a million who can actually put their money where their mouth is, and you can get reproducible data behind them, now that's
Well,
a rare and wonderful thing.
Nikki,
And see,
I have a question.
Okay, hang on a second. Each psychic is different with their abilities, so it is a 1 in a million. I'm different than, say, Chris Garcia or God. I got a number of names running through my head at this second. We're all different. We all have similarities in different ways, but we're all very different with our abilities. Some of us receive more information in one specific way, whereas others receive information in a completely different way, yet the same information. Or it could be something completely different between the two. I mean, it's almost a crapshoot, depending upon who you're talking to regarding psychic.
And what kind of a paranormal team you have. What your agenda is. If you're only a haunting team, that kills me. That kills. If you're a paranormal team, then you should be into Bigfoot, UFOs, alien abduction, and hauntings. Otherwise, just call yourself a ghost crew, a ghost team. That's all you're doing.
That's one of the things I've agreed with you from the start. You said paranormal is everything. Yeah.
You're not a paranormal group. You're a haunting group. You're not a paranormal group. You're a Bigfoot or a cryptid group. If you're into all of it, which we are, you're a paranormal group. You're a paranormal investigator because you'll investigate all of it. That's the big difference. And, you're not going to have a balanced anything if you're not using a psychic with science, with psychiatric. That's what the balance is.
Nikki?
You got to have the full gambit. Yeah, question.
Have you ever called the Miss Cleo line just to screw with them?
No.
When you come here, we're doing that.
No, we're not paying $100 a minute.
I will. I don't care. I want to see this.
Well, like I said, my abilities are different than theirs, so we'll see. God. Oh, that could be interesting.
And you're absolutely right. Some psychics use spirit guides. Some psychics actually talk directly with the spirit.
Yeah.
It depends on where you're getting your information from that dictates.
Some don't use either.
And hell, you could even be getting your information from an evil spirit who's trying to misdirect you, lead you in a completely different direction, and yet you could be hearing information from your spirit guide and from other spirits, but yet you've got this little, thing that's trying to be an evil spirit or is an evil spirit. Well, usually the ones that are evil spirits usually try to screw with you medically, but they'll start nudging. They'll try to put all the negative and misdirection. Excuse me.
But you can usually tell the difference based on the energy that you're feeling.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, have you ever been contacted? Well, it's a stupid question, but have you ever been contacted by an alien race?
That I remember. Oh boy. Yeah.
And was the energy that you felt?
Okay, psychically, I'm going to say that's questionable for me because I have bits and pieces of memories that I question to this day if they were alien. Now, things that I actually remember during an abduction, like being brought back, remembering being brought back into my bed, screaming as I'm waking up, "I'm going to kill you, motherfuckers." Mm-hmm. And if I had an axe, you're dead. And being walked to the bathroom so I could go in to pee, and being walked, not me, I'm walking myself, but my arms felt like they were in prison, and I was being forced back into bed and forced back to sleep so that they could take me again. Contact, yes, like that, where I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs and telling them I'm going to kill them because I'm so frightened and so angry at whatever it is that they are doing to me, and trying to release my arms to actually reach out because I knew somebody was on one or both of my sides. And it felt like both of my sides. But that kind of contact, yeah. But psychically, I questioned a couple of things that, well, not just a couple, but I questioned some things regarding that.
And
So-
I'm not counting abduction, because abduction is more physical. You're not going to get so much a psychic imprint from that. But
No, yes, that can. Yes, you actually can.
Okay.
But it runs. I don't know how to explain that. Yes, you can. In answer to that question, yes, you can.
So I guess what I'm getting at is if an alien was to actually contact you psychically, if you would be able to read a different kind of energy from a different race versus a spirit or a demon or a malevolent entity of any other type.
Okay, the only reason why I say yes is because I know for a fact when I was in astral and I was doing a lot of astral travel, I had met two alien races on that level, and the energy between the two, well, actually a couple of others than that, but anyway, these two that I'm specifically referring to, yeah, but the feeling off of them was different. The energy, feeling is not the terminology, the energy, the frequency off of them was completely different than the other. One had a much more higher pitch to it, and one had a much more peaceful, calm.
And that's really going to depend on the agenda of the race, or the intent of that race.
Yeah, the one that was on the higher pitch, the higher frequency, wow, I wanted to get away from him as fast as I possibly could. Yeah, there is a different energy between them. Can you tell if they're an alien race or not? I believe so. But like I said, all I've got to go on is an astral.
Right. And that's completely different anyway, because you're not in your
physical body.
No. So yeah, all the energy readings you would be getting would be different just because you're an astral.
Yeah, but I do know that there is a different feeling to a different energy.
Right.
And I would assume that, and it's like I said, it's just an assumption. I would assume if I can feel that in astral, I should be able to physically feel that in my physical body. I'm not astral traveling.
Right.
Because you can astral travel while you're up walking around if you're really good at it.
Yeah, you know what? We had an astral team member that could actually astral while he was driving.
Yeah.
He didn't do it unless we actually had a case that required emergence, and then we'd call him in. But yeah,
I used to know people that could do that years ago.
We only had one, and he had been astraling since he was a child, so he knew his shit.
Yeah.
So, Markham, you don't remember
Yeah.
you don't remember any abductions, do you?
No, the only thing I had was that experience that Keith explained. And I have no way to prove it or disprove it. I just know something happened to the bridge of my nose, and it got healed.
I just remember our very first, when you and I did S4 with E Squared, and we were going over the signs and symptoms of alien abduction. You're going, oh my God.
Oh God, yes. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I've been there. Yeah, got that. Holy crap. But by the same token, as the scientist, I can say, well, I know what can cause this. I know what, there are mundane. You can make a list of mundane things under the heading of sinusitis that tick off the same way.
Right.
I think, okay, here's what's going to happen. This is when there's a movie called Final Cut, or Final Edit. It's a Robin Williams film. Everybody at birth has a recording device implanted in their brain that records everything they see for their entire life. When that technology comes out and is accessible, like you don't have to die to get access to it, that is when things that the problem is with a show like this, we're preaching to the choir. Okay, we know, let's face it, we each have our area of this that we are certain we've encountered. Our listeners are, basically believers. They might be skeptical about some things, but, we are preaching to our club.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be when people when people don't believe in this see something and it's recorded on that device in their head, unedited. That's when the breakthroughs are going to start to happen, because then it's going to be, we're not preaching to the choir. It's more or less, we all just became the choir. Believers and non-believers alike. That's when we're going to start, that stuff, anything you see a movie about like that, you pretty well guess that it's actually out there. It's just, probably hellishly, expensive at this point. It'll take, but I'd say within our lifetime, we will see that type of technology available across the board. And then we're going to start, until until somebody learns how to hack it, Photoshop for your brain image. But there's going to be a gateway there where the technology is out there and new enough that it hasn't been hacked, that things are going to be seen with it. And that's going to be our disclosure, our biggest step forward right there.
And I can't wait till you get here and we try out some of your experiments, because it will be breakthrough, at least for us. Whether anyone else pays attention or not, I really don't care. But if we can show a signature between different craft and be able to sweep the sky and pick up that signature, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, there's going to have to. Okay, that's even a thing in our sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Their warp signature indicates that they are whatever. Pick your race, But these things, if they are moving within our physical reality, if they are appearing within our physical reality, and if you can see them with your naked eye, if you can hear them with your ears, that means that there's physics there, and not the kind that's theoretical out there to where you can't prove it without a super collider. We're talking grassroots, basic physics that can be detected. I've said that about ghosts. I've said that, and I'm saying it about UFOs. If they are truly being seen, they are now in our physicality. They're now in our place. They are having to follow the same rules we've got. They're bending them. And in some cases, it looks like they've got technology that allows them to break them completely, but that's only because we don't understand how they're doing it. And that's where that's when I get out there. That's what we're going to go after. We're going to find these, things that the physics is there that supports it.
Yeah, Yeah, we're going to be up on Cumberland. We're going to be up on Higgins Pass. We're going to be up about Mount Baker.
Well, one of the things to do with your GoFundMe, how many people have 5 or 6 dishes hanging off the top of their house that are inert?
How many dishes do we need?
Well, how many sites have you got? You just mentioned we got Haystack, you got Baker. I mean, you know, once we figure out how to set this thing up to be autonomous, we're going to need them, you know, everywhere we think.
I got you.
If you want one somewhere on Shasta, you want one on Mount Baker, you want one on Haystack. I mean, we're probably going to experiment with the one on Haystack because we can walk to it.
Yeah. Well,
but I want at least 2
we
there.
need some picks and ropes. Let's get this going.
I want at least 2 there because I want to set something. I want to set up a station where you had your encounter with that whooshing. And there's something. I mean, I'm not a super psychic or anything, but there's something there.
There's an entire valley, and you know, if Jamie was on the show tonight, she could tell you a lot more. But there's something in that valley that actually expands to the other side of that mountain, where it's inside the mountain.
Okay.
So if we can pick up a signature coming from that part of the mountain, would hands down prove there's something there.
Well, then we need a satellite on all of the receding mountains. Therefore, we can triangulate it and figure out if it's the same signature or a different signature.
Right. What are you saying?
Eric?
Yeah.
Fund me, and you and the team and I need to go out into the Puget Sound because I can show you where the alien base is.
Yeah, and so we could definitely take a dish out, and once we get this tech that we're designing fine-tuned.
I don't swim very well, just saying.
I can vouch for that.
But you know what? I don't do boats, but I think if it came down to getting in a very large boat, it's got to be large for me to be comfortable.
All right.
Give me a canoe and an oar.
To anyone listening from Fort Lewis or Whidbey, we need a destroyer. If you could just arrange that for us, I would be happy to get on that.
So honestly,
yeah, that's exactly.
Whidbey
That's
Island
exactly
itself,
what the Calypso was, is a retired French destroyer. Jacques Cousteau's old research boat.
And Keith is in the chat room.
Cruising boat.
Outstanding.
Also, if that destroyer could be armed and ready, don't worry about why, but
well,
a rail gun. We need a rail gun.
Anybody out there that has a 30 or 40 foot cruiser, leave me a message. I kid you not. I will show you people where this is. There's a number of
cruiser.
Being armed would be being armed. I mean, if you got to figure anybody who can get here is using such vast amounts of energy that there's not anything you're going to put on your boat that's going to, unless you get somebody with their equivalent technology to give you something. There's nothing we have. We're gonna we're not gonna. It's gonna be the whole Bambi versus the Godzilla.
We're going to talk about that in the last hour, actually.
We need a diving submersible. That's what we need.
I was about to say we need a submarine, but yeah.
I've designed one. I've got several designs. I just don't have the money to build one.
Well,
I'm going to say this before I forget. Kayla, there's information I've got for you. Do you want me to? When you were talking about something, I got a hit on it, and you had said you weren't. I don't know if you want it publicly stated or do you want it privately stated.
Go ahead. Let's hear.
Okay. You had said that as far as you knew, you weren't abducted. I heard, quote, where's it at? Yes, she has been, quote unquote.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because I don't know a lot about abduction. Does the body always leave?
No. There's astral, I don't think it's that new, but it's new to me. but there is soul abductions as well. Is there not, Nikki?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. I've had both.
Is that bringing anything up, Nikki?
Regarding her, no.
Yeah. No? Okay.
Not at this second. Ask me again later, and I don't mean like tonight. I mean like a couple of weeks out from tonight. Ask me again, and it might. It just depends on what they're willing to give up, what information. Because the way I received it, it wasn't my dad as my spirit guide. It was one of my other spirit guides, and to be honest, guys, I don't know the names of my spirit guides. I haven't asked. I kind of don't want to know right now.
No.
There's certain reasons I don't want to know.
But if they're willing to give it up, tell them I'll give them a cookie.
So
See if it works.
it came from one of my spirit guides. So I know that for me that's validation. So
do we have anybody out there that has been taken? Is there a frequency chart out there? And I don't mean frequency like radio frequency, but frequency as in number of times a given phenomena happens in a given place. Does anybody out there have that?
It depends on there is not going to be any set time. It depends on the race, and it depends on the abductee and what the purpose of the abduction is.
Frequencies can be sky high.
We had one client that was taken 3 times a day, Markham.
No. I'm not talking about specifically abduction, or I'm saying, does somebody have some statistics and like how many times is this seen here? And because if what we're trying to do, we want to increase our odds of getting our information by aiming our detection device where it's most likely, not just setting them up random areas. We're going to actually have to find some place where the probability of an encounter is high.
So locations, I would aim it at Cape Horn. There are a few locations that we could target.
Well, I missed something. I'm sorry, I was on my phone.
He's looking for locations of frequencies of abductions being happening, where we could aim
abductions, sightings, any kind of activity in that. Yeah, because these detectors we're building. I mean, I'm 57 and with a bad heart and some other health issues. If we don't find a place, or if we just show up randomly hoping we're going to catch them, it's going to be shy. It's going to be your kids. And it's going to be. I'm going to be dust in the ground. Yeah, we got to find targeted
locations.
place to.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it.
And Keith is saying the answer is that they avoid specifics to avoid problems, but there are some hot spots up here that we could target on.
True, there's got to even a random number generator. If you take enough of the data, you realize it's not the things bunch up,
right?
Just through normal probability. So. It's still a long shot, but we have to go where.
Now we need to
maybe or here's a question for RK that he can answer in the chat.
Right.
Different races might be coming to the same location, studying the same phenomena, and maybe they don't talk to each other.
He actually answered it before you asked it. The sightings are not a problem, but the pickup points change when they become too visible.
Okay.
You know what you're asking.
Okay. I'm not surprised. Well, he is a psychic.
And so, it's interesting because when you're talking about the frequency of abductees themselves, there's been cases where an abductee will go out and they'll get a tattoo, and they're taken that night because that particular race is going, what the hell? You've got ink on your arm. What is that? Why do you do that? Or they'll get an earring or a nose piercing, something that alters their body, and all of a sudden they're taken that night because that particular race is going, There's something shiny in your ear. What the hell is this? So, I mean, if we knew an abductee, we could have them do something to alter and see if they're taken. That would prove a couple points.
Oh, well, I've been wanting to get a tattoo.
Well, it'd be kind of interesting because then we would actually have a cause and effect and a reproducible result.
Exactly.
Yep.
And Keith
Or
is
we'd
saying,
at least have a baseline. We'd have that one person that this happened to.
Right.
Okay, here's our baseline. We started out. This wasn't random. We started out for this.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got this one case, and we do it again and again and again and see where, what we get, what the reproducibility is.
and see what race it is and why. So Keith is also saying some fight with each other is a point in fact. And I don't like sounding like a broken record. Now you've got different races that do abduct for different purposes. Some are scientists, some are medical scientists, some are social scientists. Some of them, we're just a snack, and you don't come back. And
I'm kind of good with that because when you think about, okay, I was a field biologist all through college, and I mean, I've got in trouble because I wouldn't, if something was on our capture list, I'd let it go and wouldn't record it because it's like, what's one more dead animal in a jar of formaldehyde? No, thank you. But,
right.
It's like these, we used to go out when in Tennessee, the embistamids, like the spotted salamanders, they breed in the winter because it throws their predators off. And, here we are as scientists grabbing these critters that have waited all year to mate. And it's like if you only get laid once a year and some telemarketer calls you at the wrong moment. So, it's where humans get, they're eating, it's like, well, suck it up. We do the same damn thing to what we consider lower species. So, we don't have, I guess I'm getting at is we don't have a moral leg to stand on. If we're doing this to other species, and, the old excuse was, well, they don't feel pain like we do.
So bag them and take them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily want to end up on a reptilian's dinner plate, but by the same token, if I do, well, how many alligator tails have I eaten in my life? It just turnabout is fair play.
And so for our listeners, if you want the sources that we take a lot of our information from, it does come from R. Keith Andrews' book, Races of the Worlds, by R. Keith Andrews. And I've just given permission to share another alien portfolio or profile that he just came up with. He's got 6 more races that are coming out in the new version of the book. He gets information from many different races on a constant basis. So the new race right now is, hold on a sec, and I'm probably going to butcher the name, Keith, so bear with me, but it is the, hold on, Rarkar. Physical description: they are 5 to 6 feet tall, the enlarged head with razor-sharp teeth, short arms, massive legs, thick, tall, binocular vision. They are carnivorous, carrion. Reproduction is heterosexual. Human designated nature: they are reptilian. Their government is military. Their society is clan guerrilla mentality. Their justice system is might is right. Their spirituality, belief in one higher entity, the Great Drake. They are non-technological. That's good for us. They have no ships. They're possessive and territorial and possessive towards their own people. They are slow to anger. They work through intimidation. Neutral towards humans and all of the races, and they will work with others given the right incentive and benefits to their own people. So that is one race that's not in the book yet. That will be in the new version of the book. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can get Alien Races, the Races of the World on Amazon. Can you not, or Keith? And apparently I did get the pronunciation correctly. So Rarkar.
Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to cut you off. We're going to go to our last break, people. So
right.
Join us in the last hour where we continue our conversation. Hey everyone, Cole here with S4. Make sure you join us March 27th through 29th, 2020 in Seaside, Oregon at the Oregon Ghost Conference. This is their 9th year running with a lot of great things happening, including speakers, vendors, events, and workshops that you can all get in on. So make sure you get your tickets soon at www.oregonghostconference.com. We'll see you there.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Just when exactly did you lose yourself? Outrage of the wicked. Think back before you've gone and lost your mind. Before your sickness. And I'm not saying it's your fault, my friend. What it takes to let you go and resurrect your soul. To be born on you. Your chaos deep inside burns through your skin. Release your hell with that. Your eyes black as the night fell victim to your hell with that. Look at you now, look at you now. The demons ripping out your soul. And now the devil's in control. Reflect, accept your sins, release your hell with that. You fought the good fight to prevail. Face at themselves. Encourage you, we did. Get alright. Alas, you've fallen straight from grace. Cold and distorted. Now you must face yourself to reach a better place. Your chaos deep inside burns through your skin. Release your hell with that. Your eyes black as the night fell victim to your hell with that. Look at you now, look at you now. The demons ripping out your soul. And now the devil's in control. When will we see you once again? Only time will tell. Time is a thief and a villain. What your ship has not yet sailed.
S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the third and final hour of S4 tonight. So don't forget, me and Eric will be at the Oregon Ghost Con in Seaside, Washington. It is going to be one heck of an event on March 27th through 29th. You can get your tickets now for all your general admission is really cheap this year. It's only $15 for all 3 days, and that gets you into the convention. And then the speakers are all included in that, and so are all the vendors. But if you want to attend any of their classes or their investigations, you got to go online and get tickets for that as well.
I think their best, $150 for the VIP, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an amazing deal with what you actually get.
And that comes with 3 ghost tours.
It does, and they consider it to be a $197 value, but really, when you think of the experience you're actually getting, it's more like $300 to $500 deal.
Yeah.
If you can actually fit everything in that you can go to.
But we're going to have our studio set up at our vendor booth, along with all kinds of gear for sale.
Yeah,
we're going to be taking interviews. We're going to be interviewing guests as well as some of the speakers, and we're going to do our show that Sunday night about their event.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great event. March 27th through 29th, guys.
And I'm going to say stay tuned soon, too, because we are going to have Dave Evans from AC/DC on the show. It is going to be a pre-record. So if you're familiar with Dave Evans from AC/DC, he has agreed to do an interview. And it will be a pre-record.
For those that know AC/DC, don't know Dave Evans, he was our lead singer for that band.
He was the original. He was the original.
Yeah, before Bon Scott took over.
So I can't wait for that interview. That's why I had to throw that out there, because he's going to be a great interview.
Yes, he is.
A lot of your celebrities, because he is a celebrity, all have their own paranormal stories. And Dave Evans has actually been into the paranormal, I believe, since childhood. So he's going to be it's going to be a great story coming from him. He's hard to get on the show, which is why we're doing a pre-record, because he is currently in Australia, going to South America shortly, and going to be in Mexico in March. So it's hard to get time zones, and he's on tour, so he's hard to get in between tours. So it'll be a pre-recorded show. It'll be out in probably the next couple months, I figure, is when he's going to be available for an interview. So to find, I was talking to Keith, and he's not on Amazon yet. You can look for R. Keith Andrews on Facebook and on YouTube, and you can get his book straight from him.
Excellent.
So that's the best bet. It really is. Nikki, you've got his book too, don't you? No, you've got Keith's book though. I thought so. And honestly, there's only two books I'm aware of that even talk about alien races, and that is Keith's and that Dante Centauri with the alien, the ARB that he came out with a couple years ago. So, how do you feel, Nikki, about all these people that claim to be channeling different aliens? Do you think all of them are valid? You don't have to be polite on S4. You really don't. I think half of them are full of shit. I think the real ones don't talk about it so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, most of the
famous one out there. I mean,
Oh, don't
you know,
get me
God
started.
bless her.
Washington
Yeah,
State.
God bless her. She's figured out how to bilk the masses and make a fortune. You can't,
I'm
can't
sorry,
shoot.
guys. Can we rewind for a minute? Nikki, can you give your answer again to that? Unfortunately, I didn't realize I had you guys muted. Sorry.
Well, okay, originally I had said whoever coughed. I agree with that.
That was me. Yeah, that was
Yeah, that's what I figured it was you. And basically, I said that massive amount of them, they're garbage. It's ridiculous. I was being nice when I said ridiculous. And what else did I say? I said, oh crap.
well,
Basically, the real ones are few and far between. And Eric, I think it was you, or had said that, Eric Cooper, that's what I meant, was that there's two Erics here today. So they're few and far between, and the ones, they're out to make money. So, yeah, they're not going to talk about it. The ones that are really doing it,
but you can tell. You can tell the frauds because the frauds are charging thousands of dollars for their big come and hear me talk for $1,000. And, I can name the Romptons, for example. And all out of them. I can't remember her name. But,
right.
They've got their little compound in Yelm, and they charge, exorbitant amounts of money for this ancient being named Ramtha. They believe
rhymes with blight.
Right.
There are ancient beings out there. That's what gets me. There really are ancient beings out there. They're willing to work with us. That is what really ticks me off. They're there. They're willing to work with us. They're willing to talk to us. But I'm here to tell you, oh, God, I need to calm down.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It really gets me going.
And Keith says you would absolutely accept that kind of cash. Yeah, but Keith, you're not charging exorbitant amounts of money for a book of alien races. You're charging what, $20?
Yeah, it's a good book.
I think what Keith...
that barely covers publishing costs.
No.
He'd be willing to put on the whole Miss Cleo outfit and say, hey, I'll tell you what you need to know.
Right. And, and that's why I've always said Keith was valid, because Keith never charged no money. Same with...
he wants to help people.
Same with Dante Santori. He released his book for free.
Yeah, for anyone out there, that book, when you go to search for it, if you look for it on Amazon, do not buy it.
No.
There are people out there who have redone that book. It is word for word his book, and his book is free.
That's good to know.
And there's people charging $20 for the freaking book.
Yeah. Oh, more than that.
No, I saw $58 for a hard copy of the book.
Yeah, and okay, so hard copy of the book, take the free copy, take the free PDF, and go to a print shop. I paid $20 to print out the book for my own hard copy. You don't got to pay $58 to go on Amazon to buy a free book. And Markham, are you still with us?
No, his phone
Markham's
died.
phone died.
Yeah.
Damn it. Markham. Okay.
If you were in Washington, I'd be able to give you a charger, Markham.
Right. Well, if he's in Washington, he'd be sitting right here on the show in the studio. So our Keith's book is $40, and that includes shipping, including shipped anywhere in the continental U.S. and Canada. But well worth it. And again, he has 6 new races that are coming into the new version of it. But getting back to local, so anytime I get a case, someone brings up a picture or comes up with a description, and based on the light pattern of that craft, I automatically go to Keith. And based on the description of that craft, Keith can tell me what race it is, why they're here, what they're doing here, and that's usually what I go off of. So based on the photograph that John took the other day, it is the Talons. And I know you guys were laughing earlier because the Talons were from a movie.
Well, and the craft was also seen like 2 days later, I think, in Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, it's been seen. That particular craft has been seen all across Washington, Idaho, and Oregon. Because there's a whole lot of different sightings. And, you know, Joe, Pointy Stick Joe, the same night that the craft was seen here, there were, I think, 30 UFOs that were seen across Nevada. So, and so Markham's gone for the night. His phone completely went dead. He'll be back next week. But the Talons. So, a typical abduction. Most races that do the abducting, and Keith says, you know they have more than one ship, right? No, I don't. That's why you're my go-to when it comes to describing the craft and what race has what ship, and yeah. But most races that do the abducting empathize. They know they're going to cause pain. They don't understand pain because they don't feel it. And the Talons, however, they'll break your leg and laugh about it. Man, they really don't give a damn. They're part of the consortium. So you've heard us talk about the consortium on the show before. The consortium is a panel or a council of several hundred races that watch the planet. They don't care about the human race per se. They're here to protect the planet. So they don't care Trump's the president. They don't care that Trudeau's the Prime Minister of Canada. They don't care what they do. They're not going to interfere. Unless there is a nuclear anything that is going to devastate the planet, then they will get involved. That's the only time they will. So the Talons are a part of the consortium, but the consortium doesn't get along with them because the Talons actually do what the hell they want. To include harming humans that are being abducted by them. And oftentimes, according to Keith, the humans they're abducting don't come back. If they do, they're coming back with a broken leg. They're not, or broken arm, whatever. So they have been seen over East Skagit County, but going by craft. If we confront them, as in they physically come down here and we encounter them in the mountains when we start doing our expeditions up there, they do have a pulsar or a sonar weapon.
Keith says you do know they have more than one ship, right?
Yeah, no, that's why I told them. No, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm just going by the particular. I'm just going by the particular craft that we're talking about. That was the photograph was taken of. So to mitigate that particular weapon they're using, we can use earplugs, which will keep you neurologically safe. They come back as Soylent Green.
Sure.
And they do bleed, meaning we can engage them with our conventional weapons and we will eliminate them. Now with them, or with that, and if we do wind up encountering them and combating them, we will have the backing of the consortium because the consortium is not going to support them. But along with that is another race called the Thorians. Now the Thorians, and so let me go over the description of the Talons real quick. The Talons are black and red in color. They are 4 feet in height. Their skin is carapace. They have 2 legs, 2 arms, and 2 multi-purpose limbs. So you're looking at what's that one creature in Final
Keep going, you'll get there.
Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That one creature's got 4 arms.
Yeah, except for the fact that he's like 12 foot tall, but like a compact version of him.
But he's got 4 arms. That's my point. What's his name?
Koopa. Goro.
Yo,
there we
that's
go.
right.
Gotta
Anyway,
ask
these
that
guys-
For our listeners, that's my son Jalen. And he says Goro.
Yep, Markham's got it. Okay, so he's got 2 legs, 2 arms, and 2 multi-purpose limbs. So I think of Goro. All limb caps fully opposable. They're primarily vegetarian. Will eat anything organic. Reproduction, 1 militarily protected egg layer. Eggs move to a hatchery. As they hatch, they are drawn to the nursery by scent to get nourishment. Human designated nature is insectoid. They're like ants. The government is matriarchal and dictatorship.
Then do they have the body mass of ants too? Like, are they able to lift like 10 times their weight? Or
I don't know. Keith, you would have an answer to that. Their society is conquest oriented. Justice is disobedience. Imperial decree is termination. Spirituality, belief in many gods. Pyramid hierarchy throughout gods and society.
That's interesting.
Notes they are highly technological, driven to harvest all resources, mental and physical. They're close to 20 times the size of ants.
the size of ants or the weight capacity that they can lift?
You're talking,
I
weight.
think he's talking about like the strength capacity.
Weight lift
Yeah.
capacity is 20
Oh, okay.
times. So they're capable of producing webbing at will. That's right. So what's interesting, and I was talking to Keith about this the other day, is they produce webbing out of their mouth, like a spider web.
Yeah.
But out of the
yuck.
mouth?
Huh? Say again?
Oh, yuck. That's just beyond disgusting. Sorry. I don't know if I wanted to know that one.
Well, so yeah, like we were talking on the phone the other day, when you're abducted, you're going to find yourself encased in a spider web on like a bunk bed.
Yeah, but think about what they must think of us. They look at us and they're like, ew, they have saliva coming out of everything. It's disgusting.
Violent tendencies toward all sentient, non-insectoid, and specific races, so they don't like humans. Robert says, wouldn't want to kiss that type. I wouldn't want to kiss any of them, Robert. I'm sorry.
I don't know. There's some sexy grays out there. I tell you what. I'm kidding. Don't
Seriously?
look at me like that.
Just gonna say she's joking.
No.
Wow, there's the alien off of Total Recall.
That
With
blue-headed
the
thing?
three
Oh.
boobs.
No.
What?
No. I wouldn't want to kiss any of them. Communication is via clicking. Maneuvers of mandibles.
Which is interesting because I've heard clicking insectoid in my apartment.
But
Really?
there's more than, okay, so this ain't the only clicking race. There's a lot of races that use clicking for
What I found
communication.
out.
Yeah. That's not the only one. Their ships are winged insectoid design, atmospheric capable, legs full up over top of the ship during atmospheric and hydrogen reentry, hydrographic reentry. Land walkers. Underside has strobing blue, yellow, and red lights. Their fighter ships are the same configuration and orbit around the mothership.
Well, are they metallic or are they like organic or a mixture between both? I'm looking at like winged organic ships that can somehow survive in an atmosphere of space.
Right.
That's
If the
Transformers.
wings pulled up over the top of the ship, does it create a pyramid?
And we'll have to wait and see if Keith answers. A paribus?
Pyramid.
Okay, a pyramid.
Pyramided shape.
I got you.
Yeah.
The Greys, Vegan, and Talon, to name a few, click to communicate. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that if people talk about organic vessels and the existence of organic vessels that can survive in space, some people say that the Greys have certain organic vessels that they use. So,
So, that's the Talons. Now, the Thorians, I don't like spiders, but... okay, so he says it's not a pyramid, it's more like a ball.
Oh, interesting.
So the Thorians, I think, is probably the only spider that I would get along with because they're backing us up. So basically, if the Taurans are here, Talons are here, sorry. There's another race called the Taurans. But if the Talons are here, then the Thorians are coming right behind them. So if you saw the craft lights the other night, and you saw a different set of lights that you couldn't explain, it's probably the Thorians, because they follow them around and they eat them. So the Thorians are brown to black in color, 5 feet in height. Diet is plasma, cannibalistic and carrion. Reproduction, birth, 100 children plus per hatching. Ooh.
that's a lot of baby.
Human designator nature, arachnid spider. Government is matriarchal corporate structure. Society is survival of the fittest mentality. Kill or be killed mentality. Justice as per contract law. Spirituality, belief in one higher entity. Natasa. Natash. There we go. Did I get that right, Keith? Natash is their deity. And their ships are spherical. So, basically, if we encounter the Talons and we see spiders come up behind us, we just get out of the way and the spiders take over.
I'd get the heck out of the way to begin with if I saw a spider that big.
I'll just get out of the way. And they can eat them. And yes, that's correct.
Fascinates me that their diet is plasma. How do they keep that up? I mean, wow.
Well, just like a regular spider.
What?
They would wrap them up and suck their blood, right?
So, yeah, and I'm curious, as spiders, do they use webs? That's what fascinated me, is how the Talons have webbing that comes out of their mouth, and we have spiders that eat them.
And as you said, you don't know how they would keep that up, Nikki. You got to remember the Talon wouldn't have the same blood as we do. We don't know how much plasma is actually in their blood and what levels.
Robert says, "Do not reach for the raid can." No, I'm not going to have raid with me. And yeah, blood plasma is what he's talking about.
If there is a 5-foot spider coming into my house, I am not reaching for a raid can. We are talking grenades. Screw the house. Light it up.
Where are we going to get grenades?
Huh?
Where are we going to get grenades?
Walmart.
We live in concrete. I'm pretty sure there's 5 neighbors that have a few.
Probably. But, yeah, so... Yeah. Oh. So, I can't wait for Markham to get here because I can't wait to try some of this tech that we're going to design and build and see if it works. See if there's a way we can figure out frequencies, pinpoint the frequencies, identify them, because I know damn well no one's done this before.
And there's certain sections of Mount Baker that there are certain sections of Mount Baker that actually have an alien base on them and a government base on them as well. So, hello.
Well, so I'm glad you said that, because there's another thing that a lot of locals don't understand, is there is craft that leave Whitehorse Mountain in Darrington and travel to Mount Baker.
Well, they all try and explain that away with Jim Creek and
Not these craft. These are
Well, no, but that's what they
right.
They always try and give that as an excuse, but these aren't military craft. These aren't our military craft.
No, these are orbs. They are an orb-shaped craft, and they move at least. I wish we had Darrington folks on the show tonight, but I want to say they move almost nightly, if not weekly.
That explains some of the things that somebody I know talks about. Certain lights that they see almost every.
We've got folks in Darrington that talk about these all the time. And you look at Whitehorse. Whitehorse, we need our drone.
And considering if you look at a map, we are almost dead center of that line from Whitehorse to Mount Baker.
It's about parallel.
I'm thinking if we sat in the backyard here and had a few Skywatch, I think we'd see something.
Well, if we just shot the dish straight up, we'd pick up the frequencies that went over.
Yeah.
So mark them. There you go.
Because we did sit out here last year. I think it was actually July 4th. We sat out here. We turned all the lights off, and we got a good view of the sky from the backyard.
Yep. And yeah, Keith says the Thorian craft are spherical. But how many races have spherical craft, Keith? Because I don't think the Thorians are traveling from Whitehorse to Baker.
Tons.
I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Who am I? I have no idea. I need
Cooper.
Yeah, I know.
Don't start doing that.
I'm not the alien race expert here. I study them, I research them, but I'm by no means the specialist in that field.
There's a government book out there that shows every race, every single race that every government on this globe knows about.
Where's this book at?
There was only one of 500 made. I got my hands on it by another psychic who was a real not very nice woman. And why she allowed a couple of others to have access to it, I still haven't understood that one. Well, I have some ideas, but anyway. And there's a chapter in the book. Oh, God, government's going to go after me big fucking time.
You need to bring
the language.
Bring it with you. Bring it with you when you come up here.
Honey, I don't have it.
Oh, okay.
I was allowed to access to it for about 18 hours. 18 hours total, and I actually read for about 6 or 7 hours of it because I had school the following day. And it's a very, very, very thick book. It's written by government officials, many I now recognize. Didn't understand it back then. And because I have a photographic memory, I went through the pages that I couldn't actually read at the time because I ran out of time. I started skimming. And I have those images of that book in my head. I have, for those that try to access my brain again, I've put protective measures around that because there's a chapter in that book that would knock the paranormal community on its butt. Yeah. And it would stun them. And ever since I made the statement to a retired government official because I thought they could possibly help me. No, intern turned around and I had all kinds of problems a couple days after. And so, yeah, there are 500 of these books out there that were ever printed. I'm sure the people that own them have them in lockdown in very specific ways. And
if you're in the government and you're listening to the show tonight, I want a copy. Send it to P.O. Box 124, Concrete, Washington 98237.
Hi, Big Brother.
So, yeah, it's a pretty major book. And it asked me what I think had happened to the book. And basically, there are a number of books that I have seen over the last 20 years. And I said, well, I think it's been parted out because I've seen a lot of the chapters in other books.
Okay.
And I find that fascinating because somebody is taking and piecing out that book. But I have yet to ever see that one chapter, and that chapter was thick. And I read every page of it. So all of that is locked in my head. And I'm here to tell you, they are trying to locate each and every one of those books to destroy them.
Well, that's all the more reason they need to send to S4. Because we will protect
Hello.
So have you seen Dante Centauri's book?
No, not yet. And
I will send you a copy of it tonight.
Please do.
And you can. I'm curious if any of those discussed in that book as well are coming from this government book.
This book that I got my hands on for that many hours, I'm here to tell you, it had government documents in it. Mm-hmm. It had sketches. It had photographs, black and white photographs. And I mean, black and white.
Less of a book and more of a case file.
Photograph. Yeah, these were case files. They were black and white photographs of actual alien ships that they got their hands on, and had also in the book artist drawings. Sorry, I'm trying to condense everything down so I can say this properly without revealing too much. But at the same time, I've revealed it finally for the first time. I've been making little statements about this for a while, but to actually come out and talk about this. So there is a book out there. And I do know for a fact that that government, that specific part of our government is trying to destroy those books. Every one of them, and do damage to people who have access to them. They don't want that knowledge out. And hello, baby, I'm putting it out there. I'm tired of BS that trying to access is BS. So, it's out there, and there's an entire chapter that is very in detail that would knock it would blow everything out of the water. All the BS that goes on, all the, it would lay it out flat, and it's all government documents. And you would be appalled. Well, maybe you wouldn't. I was just going to say you'd be appalled to find out who knew.
Oh, I have. Probably
really
not.
Everybody knows.
Probably not. You need to start. You need to start typing out in a Word document all the information you can remember.
On a computer not connected to the internet.
I'm not going to discuss what I've done because I need to keep the rest of me safe, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I have taken measures to protect myself and protect the information that I've got. What I do. Fascinating information, but they had every single ship that they'd ever come across.
What do you think they came up with a TR-3B? I mean, it wasn't from human. That wasn't human technology they were using in the TR-3B.
It's never been human technology.
Yeah, the microwave, really?
It hasn't been human tech
Velcro? Come on.
Right.
bits and pieces, but not. It's alien tech. I mean, hello.
So what do you think about Bob Lazar? Personally, I've always thought Bob Lazar was valid, based on just one piece of it was Element 117 that he was talking about long before the quote unquote discovered and actually started talking about it in the public eye.
When he came out publicly and it hit the news, well, it hit the media, I should say. It wasn't necessarily news, it was media.
Right.
I, at that time, didn't understand the second kit I got. But I know this, that at that time, I truly believed it because of what I was feeling, what I would claim now as psychically.
Right.
Back then, I was still trying to figure out what the heck was going on with me. Because I knew, but yet, you know, you're a teenager, you're still trying to figure stuff out. So, but yeah, I do believe him. There's a lot of people that are going to go, oh, he's full of blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. He's got it.
Well, and that's what's interesting is, you know, back then they tried to out him, yet they didn't take his phone number out of the phone directory. So you had validation right there that he was actually worked there at some point. And now he's coming back out in the limelight again.
Yeah. I think he's had enough, and he's like, no, this is it. We're done.
And yeah, I fully agree, Markham, because Markham's in the chat saying he thinks Bob Lazar is legit as well. You know, and I fully, you know, I thought he was legit. I was stationed in Germany when I first started hearing about Bob Lazar, and that was back in 1990, 1991. And yeah, I actually went out and bought the. You can't. It pisses me off because so I was heavy into UFO research in 94, 95. I had a whole bag full of research material. I was on gate guard right after 9/11, and it disappeared. It was taken, stolen, and you know, it had handwritten diagrams, documents, gone. But I actually bought the sports model UFO model that Bob Lazar came out with, and it was a UFO, flying saucer, and I paid probably $8 in the Army PX at that time. You won't find it for less than $150 on eBay now. It's like, damn. And it was, you know, Tester Model Company that put it out, but you can't find it for $8 anymore, because now it's, you know,
Expensive.
It's irritating.
Well, this one book that I was talking about, I was told it was. Oh God, I gotta think of the digits. It was a 5-digit expensive book.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in the 80s.
It's probably in the Library of Congress, and we just don't even know what to call it right now.
Oh, I don't think it would even be there.
Oh, I doubt it.
This was, yeah, not with how this was done. Very individuals who wanted this information put out there.
No, they wouldn't. It's being released to the Space Force.
Do you ever think that maybe people like Bob Lazar are actually sent out by the U.S. military or by the U.S. Congress or whatever to state all of these things just so that they can say, haha, what a fraud, and debunk him to make you think that this stuff really isn't real?
It's I do think it was a form of soft disclosure. But yeah, then they can very easily plausible deniability. The guy never worked here. The guy never went to college. They took all his records away, but they forgot. Now I really find it hard to believe they forgot to take his number out of the.
That's what I'm saying, though. Leaving just enough bits and pieces and stuff so that they got the people that are believers going, oh yeah, this guy's legit, but just enough misinformation that you can say, ha, so this is why they don't exist.
Yeah, and you know, Markham's in the chat saying Friedman said he was a fraud, but a researcher did find him in a phone directory for JPL. So, you know, I think he's legit. I always have. I'm not going to change my mind now.
No, most definitely. And I'm just saying, like, different, like, soft disclosure that didn't work so well, so now they have the ability to say, he's full of crap. You know.
Hey, let's pull Markham back in. His phone's back on. We'll pull Markham in. We got 15 minutes left. Don't forget to come see us in Oregon. If you're local, by all means, y'all pretty much know how to get a hold of me. Just throw me a message on Facebook if you see something crazy in the sky. If you feel you've been abducted before, listen to the back archives of the alien abduction shows we've done. And cause I'm not going to go over the signs and symptoms tonight.
I want to throw opinion-based question
What's
out
that?
there. Since we do hopefully have a lot of local listeners out there tonight, what do you guys each think the reason that we are seeing that particular craft in this area is? Just random, basic opinions.
Yeah.
Why are the Talons here?
Don't go by what we say.
No, but like, let's throw some. That honestly, the beginning of every research is throwing ideas out. So
Exactly.
let's do it.
That's why I say don't go by what we say, because you know we're not experts. I don't believe in experts. There's no such thing as experts in the paranormal field, because an expert knows it all.
But let's each throw an idea out there of why the Talons could be in the Pacific Northwest at this time.
I couldn't even tell you that. I do think there's UFOs here because of the resources that are here. We have two volcanoes right here in our vicinity, Glacier Peak and Baker. They use those volcanoes to fuel their craft based on what race it is.
How about Bigfoot research?
Say again?
Yeah.
Maybe they're interested in Sasquatch. And this area is, like I'm already there. Your area is noted to be like the Walmart supercenter of Sasquatch activity.
It really is.
So maybe, if they're like if there's some kind of like scientific team or their version of anthropologists, it's a perfect area to study.
Fully.
Yep.
What do you think, Nikki?
Well, I'm looking at Keith's book and being reminded about driven to harvest all resources.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw. I'm going to throw this out there before there's a panic, though. Are they here to invade? No.
No, I don't get that.
If they are, we apologize to our alien overlords.
When you first asked the question, what I got was food. And then of course when I open up the book, that pops out at me, and I'm like, whoa, okay. So I don't know. I can't quite call it a psychic hit regarding the word food, but.
Right.
It's real close to it. It's not like, it's almost like that instinct, which is different for me than a psychic hit.
Yeah. And
So-
Keith,
Could it be that the minerals and the geothermal activity there, plus you have the seismic activity,
Yeah,
could all of that be like a perfect storm to be like a charging plate, like some kind of
I think
they
possibly.
go there for the energy?
I think possibly because we have the volcanoes. We have multiple rivers that cross each other, and everybody. Most people know that intersecting rivers create their own energy.
Yes.
You know,
Big time.
You've got the Cascadia subduction zone plus smaller fault lines that are up here into volcanoes. And like Keith is saying in the chat room, geothermal energy plus sunspot cross current ramifications.
I heard that.
Xenosociological evolution. Part of it, especially on the subquantum levels. We need our scientists here. I'm curious if Bigfoot puts out any kind of
I'm not curious about that.
I am.
I don't want to know what Bigfoot puts out.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna
think
go with something
Bigfoot.
really
There's more to
bizarre here.
Bigfoot than just a primate.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you get the people that say, "Okay, I shot this thing in the chest with double off both barrels at once, and it didn't hurt." I'm thinking this creature is shamanic.
Yeah.
That perhaps what we consider shamanism. Yeah, interdimensional, which is part of being a shaman, and perhaps the lore that a human shaman has came from this species. I don't think they're. I don't think they're primitive ape-like. I think they're
not at all.
Probably a more advanced, like a people, and they just like, hey, we don't want the rat race. We'll
it's
live
funny,
naked in the
Marco.
woods.
It's funny because a couple of years ago you were all about Giganteospithecus. You've changed your view.
No, I never really.
I thought you were.
No.
So we have 10 minutes left, and I know Kayla's got a question.
It's not necessarily a question. I was stating why I think the Talons are here.
Okay.
Same reason that we go to Yellowstone. Okay? We sit in our
Watch
car, we
buffalo.
drive around, we see all of this stuff that we don't see on a normal basis. We see different animals, we see different things. I think they're coming on vacation.
Okay, so I just got a message from Ann Lewis, and she says, Spring break 1967, do you know we had a real live UFO sucking up water over one of our smaller lakes? Now, she's local, so this happened up here. In just one county over. Yes, also Bigfoot activity in the same area. So, yeah, we need our scientists up here for damn sure.
Yep.
If they're here just to watch us, like Yellowstone, we want our money, people.
We needed to put on a show.
Do we give the buffalo money?
No, we give the freaking government money.
Okay, so we got 9 minutes
Who's
left.
to say they're not?
And Markham, did you hear? So there's a video on YouTube out. So there's a group called the Olympic Project, and they're focused on the Bigfoot activity in the Olympic Peninsula. Now, there's supposedly, according to them, 2 hunters that were out, and they shot and killed a Bigfoot. And they buried it. They got scared. So
Somebody check on Chewbacca.
Plan cried hard over that.
Well, supposedly they buried this Bigfoot. Actually, they killed 2 of them. There was a child and a Bigfoot, and they shot and killed them.
One.
Have you heard it?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yeah, but of course when they went back,
they found a
body,
piece.
It's always the same thing.
Yep.
Supposedly BFRO, or I can't remember if it was BFRO or these the Olympic Peninsula. We'll actually be meeting them all in September when we go to the International Bigfoot Conference. I want to ask them a few questions. But supposedly they took a DNA sample of this skin or body that they took a piece off of, and it came back as an unknown. Have you heard that story?
Yeah, I would. I'm highly suspect of any of those things where
how come it
they
didn't hit
buried
mainstream news?
the principle, the body, or that they have the. Okay, you're two rednecks that just shot Bigfoot. You now have proven that Bigfoot exists.
Right.
You are going to be rich beyond the dreams of avarice. You are not going to bury the evidence and walk away with a scrap.
And it could
Because if you don't have a primary specimen, if you don't have, okay, you can take that little scrap in and say, okay, here's this little piece of meat off a animal, and it comes back an unknown. That's all it is an unknown. You
Right.
bring the body back and do the DNA analysis, and it's unknown. You can then well, I've got this primary specimen.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I hear a story like that, my BS detector goes off.
Agreed.
I mean,
Personally,
'cause
I don't think.
all it has to be for an unknown is to be contaminated, and these guys aren't bright enough. Didn't sound like they were bright enough to know how to
Not at
select
all.
a specimen anyway.
And personally, I don't think you're going to be able to kill a Bigfoot with a single bullet. If they're interdimensional, if they're interdimensional, your bullet's not going to be able to penetrate
But
them.
that's if.
What?
That's if they're interdimensional.
I
That's the
agree.
thing.
Well, it'll be like
You
shooting
never
a
know.
dog.
I agree.
Well, and it depends on what dimension and area they're in at that point too.
Yeah.
So if they're fully in our dimension at that point, maybe they're turned around eating or something. You sneak up behind them and shoot them with a pistol. They could die just as easy as anything else, I would assume.
Possible. But do I think...
They could. That story could have hit mainstream media, Eric. Though.
Huh?
That story could have hit mainstream media, and we just didn't pay attention to it because it was a fluff piece.
Then you're going to be able to Google that, and that news piece is going to pull up.
Not always, because if it's just a fluff piece at the end of the segment, it won't.
If it was in Washington State, which I believe this happened in Oregon.
The 2-second fluff piece is at the ends where they just say, "And someone shot a Bigfoot." Those don't come up.
Okay.
Pictures at 11.
Right. Anyway,
A teaser.
we are at the end of the show. Next week, we will have John, the witness of the UFO from
Hopefully.
last week, on the show. He will be here in the studio with us.
Work with Holden.
Huh?
Work with Holden.
Yep. He's a
course.
truck driver. He's on the road right now. But thank you, Nikki and Eric, for being on the show tonight. Awesome show as usual.
Thanks for having me on.
And look forward to you getting here so we can set the lab up and start getting to work.
Yeah, and hopefully, Nikki, you can make it to that
Well.
meeting on the 7th.
Yep. Don't forget, March 7th.
I tell you what, if things went the way I think they went, and the message I got from my... Anyhow, I'll get back to you tomorrow if I know everything.
And you might even be here for a meeting on March 7th. All right. So, don't forget, folks, March 27th to 29th, we will be at the Oregon Ghost Conference. And as usual, if you're local and you see something unusual, you know how to get a hold of us. I know you do.
Yep.
So,
and as always, check out our Facebook page, S-4 Paranormal Radio, and check out our website at www.s4radio.com. And check out the store. Get yourself some S4 gear.
I think Char got her shower curtain.
Did she? Awesome. I hope so.
I hope so, too. I need to get mine.
Every piece of that you buy helps us put more into this show, and we'll be able to get bigger guests and actually do some more research and get you some more information. So
Exactly. So, I do try to keep paranormal information out of the upper group because that is for emergency management, disaster preparedness stuff, whatnot. So, if you're in the local community and you want straight paranormal information, go join Forest Moon Paranormal because that is actually where we put paranormal specific information out.
and make sure you join the group, not the page.
Exactly. Anyway, y'all have a great week, safe week, and remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com. or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.